Penny, thank you for joining me today. Now, I saw you speak live recently and I came away from your talk with a very fizzy brain, feeling like anything was possible.
I'm really glad about that.
I guess the reason I've asked you to come along and chat to me is you have what I think is a really unique perspective on mental toughness. That's what you call it. Other words for that include fortitude, grit, confidence, all things I think a lot of people could do with your perspective on. So I guess today we're going to talk together a little bit more about the power of the human spirit when we think everything's against us, about how the quality of your thoughts can truly impact the quality of your life. How champions are made when no one's watching. But Penny, I want to start with you. For those people who are new to you, can you share a little bit about what made you the person you are today?
Just like everyone else in the world, everything I've experienced has made me the person that I am today. And I probably would have said it, Ellen, when I was speaking and you heard me. You know, I haven't had the most straightforward experience of life, but then who does? And everything that's happened particularly the hard stuff, has made me. And quite often it is the hard stuff for all of us that creates us, makes us stronger, tougher, just more able to manage life. So I wouldn't change anything, despite the fact that some of it's been a bit tricky. It's made me, and I'm super grateful for that.
And for those people who are new to you, just a little bit on your origin story, I suppose, how you came into public knowledge.
Well, gosh, I never know where to start with this. I ended up speaking because I ran out of everything else to do. I was never ever going to be a speaker. That was the last thing. I'm actually quite a shy person. I don't like the attention or the spotlight. I would avoid it. And so having ended up doing what I do, it doesn't make any sense at all. But I absolutely love it. Not because I'm on stage, but because I get reactions from people like you where it landed and it made a difference. That's really the reason I do it. So it's the most satisfying job you could have, going to lovely places and meeting lovely people. But I ended up speaking because I ran out of other stuff to do, because the things that I chose to do with my life were never going to see me through. But I never thought about that. I wanted to be a rally driver from a very young age. And I became a rally driver, but I shouldn't have, because I was homeless. I left home at 14, had a very dysfunctional, disruptive, weird upbringing, which sent me off the rails. I just didn't deal with it well. So I had this dream to be a rally driver. It's never going to happen. And then when I really hit rock bottom, I had to make a choice. And I made the choice to not do that silly thing today, but to go to a rally school. And that rally school changed my life completely. And 12 years of amazingness, driving in motorsport. And I reached a very high level and enjoyed some amazing success. I have a photograph that I dreamed of owning for 12 years. I got the photograph in the end, of me on the bonnet with all the trophies. It was just amazing. Still to this day, I can hardly believe it happened. But of course, that always comes to an end, any career like that. So I ended up working on TV, doing car programs, and presented World Rally Championship, which was amazing. And then that came to an end. And then I'm thinking, what on earth am I going to do? I started doing some adventure stuff because I missed the adrenaline, but I needed to earn money. I was a single mum with 2 kids. So when somebody asked me to speak at a conference, I said I couldn't possibly do that, but I had to because I needed the money. And that's when it all started. And I played at it for a while. I was dreadful looking back. Can't believe anyone booked me for anything, but it's taken me a long time to formulate really what my message is, really what the important lessons I've learned from life are, and really how to communicate that to get other people thinking. So it wasn't a planned journey, but I'm so grateful for it, because I just love it every day.
Yeah, I mean, and it really is a great talk. It's so inspiring, and like I say, I came away feeling all fizzy and full of electricity.
Thank
just because
you. I'm so pleased. Go on, because
Well, it was just so nice to see you stood up there, absolutely in control of the message that you wanted to say, but also there was no "I'm the big I am." It was very, very real, and I thought it was very humble and authentic. And the way that you talked about, the shit you've had to deal with as well along the way made it feel like, well, maybe anyone can have a similar path to you.
And that's the truth, is that we all have shit in our, nobody gets a smooth ride. It just doesn't happen. I'm not anything different to you, and I quite often say, the pain, the trauma, the loss you've been through in your life, because I can pretty much guarantee you have, and if you haven't, you will.
Mm,
That's at some point we embrace it, we look back and go, that was really quite useful. I learned stuff. It was miserable while I was in it, but this storm too shall pass. Everything changes, everything passes. So
mm,
whatever miserable place people are in, the good news is that at some point it will go. It
mm,
might be replaced by something else, but this storm too shall pass has been a phrase that's haunted my head for so many years.
mm.
And I always encourage people, if they are having a miserable, horrible time of it somehow, just remember that every storm passes.
Yeah.
And it just gives you a little bit of hope, I suppose, to cling on to. But yeah, we all have a tough time. I'm no one special, no one different for that. It happens to us all.
What do you think you've noticed about yourself along the way when you've been dealing with this stuff?
Um, I've never been asked that, Elle. I thought I've been
Really?
asked everything. No one's ever asked me that. So just hold on a moment while I compute. I like a doubter. I like to prove people wrong, and I'm probably still trying to get validation. Old age of 60 in a couple of weeks. That's crazy. I should be over this stuff by now. I shouldn't be looking for validation from anyone. But I think because of my childhood and
Mm,
my lifelong journey to get my father's attention and affection when he disowned me,
mhm.
it's not really left me. And my father's died. I don't have to prove anything to him anymore. I don't have to prove anything to anyone. But something
Yeah.
about me still has. Maybe I still think as an individual, I have to keep doing this stuff and proving to
Mhm.
myself that I'm worthy, that I'm good enough, that I'm still tough, that I can do stuff.
Mm.
And most people get over that, and I just haven't got over it yet.
I don't think anyone gets over it. I think we all like a pat on the head. I really do.
Yeah, I think that's probably all it is.
It's that feeling of being seen, isn't it? You see me, you saw that I did that, and that matters to me.
Yeah, because I felt so useless as a kid, like invisible useless. Nobody noticed me. I didn't get any attention, and I was just so unbelievably below average at everything at school. And all my friends were brilliant at sport or really academic. I just hated being so average.
Mm.
That mediocrity just made me hate myself. And so I suppose I've tried to flip it. And being mediocre is like hell on earth to me. I'll do something crazy or extreme or
Mm.
dangerous or stupid because I don't like mediocrity, and I don't like routine because I'm scared of routine because that might make me boring and mediocre. I'm just a crazy mixed up bag of stuff. But then who isn't, quite honestly?
Well, that's really interesting that that's the stuff that you find tough to handle, because most people would say, oh, that's just an easy life, but I get it. You're an achiever, right?
Yeah, and which is so weird because I was a complete loser for so many years of my life, and I've flipped flipped my mindset so dramatically from I'm a victim of life and like, I'll just have to manage what life throws at me to absolutely not happening. I will command what happens to my life, where it goes, how I get there. The flip of my mindset is probably something I should be proud of.
Yeah,
But I'm just more than that. I'm just so grateful that I
yeah.
have that approach to life now. I
And
just
when
love
did
I love a challenge. I just like, if you put a block in front of me, I love to find a way around it. I find really satisfying.
when did
That's
you figure out that that was what you call mental toughness, do you think?
probably only very recently, maybe 6, 7 years ago. Yeah, really recently. I was introduced to the concept of mental toughness by an organisation called AQR. So this is not my concept, it's theirs. When I was revealed, this concept was revealed to me, it just made everything make sense. I thought, that's me. That explains everything about me. And I was then accredited to deliver the mental toughness concept, which is what I incorporate in my own way. I incorporate it into my talks, but I can demonstrate, as you saw, how I've developed my mental toughness, which of course at the time I didn't know was a thing. I didn't know it had a name. I didn't know I was doing it. It's just when I look back, it becomes very clear what was happening.
And I suppose the flip side of tough, although the things that you find tough are kind of like, you know, mediocrity, as you say. The flip side of that is how you actually clear your head. So when you're having a tough day, how do you do that?
I mow the lawn.
Yeah.
I love my garden.
Yeah.
See, that makes me think, oh my God, am I boring? No, because nature's just phenomenal. I love spending time in my garden, and it's quite beautiful now. And so nature outdoors, I think for everybody has got to be the best way to clear your head.
Yeah.
In fact, last night I was reading about how the trees release oxygen, and if you go out in the morning, you will get the benefit. If you go into like a wooded area, a wood or a park or something, the benefit you would get from the extra oxygen that's just been given to you free from the trees is the most amazing feeling. So that's, and I used to run a lot. I've stopped running because I'm rowing for a different reason. But when I run, oh my God, the endorphins clear my head. I start to think a bit sharper. My mood lifts. It's literal painkillers.
Wow.
So that for me, and I just wish people would experience it, because it is remarkable how clever your body is to fix yourself. So getting outside, it's a long answer to your short question, getting outside and being active outside.
I think for some people, myself included, definitely in the past, the whole concept of exercise, I find it a really difficult word to say. If I say I'm going to go off and do some exercise, well, that's chores, that's hard, that's, you know, difficult. But if I reframe it and just say I'm going for a walk, different, instantly in my brain, I'm like, well, that's okay, that's allowed, that's a benefit I can give myself. But I could never think of exercise as the benefit you're actually giving your body.
I agree, and I think for a lot of people that's the case. It still actually happens for me. So you could say I'm going to go and clear my head. Just give it a positive result rather than a chore. I spent my entire childhood putting purple eyeshadow on my knees, fingers, hands, elbows to get off sport. Like I painted bruises on me. I hated activity. I hated sport. I took part in nothing until I realized that it changes the way you operate. And because I'd operated at such a dysfunctional level, when I had left school and got through the homeless thing, and I started doing some boxing training, and I quite like the idea of having biceps. And I realized then activity was really rewarding, but that's just grown and grown and grown and grown and grown. So I still train all the time. I find it hard to train when I need a certain environment, a certain people around me. I'm not very good at doing it on my own I quite like being shouted at.
I get that.
So for a lot of people, exercise is like, oh, please don't make me. I just wish it could be reframed, like you say, as something else, and that more people would try it and go, oh my God, I had no idea this is what it would do. It's remarkable.
I can change the way I think today from this one
good
bit. You know, it's a completely different way of looking at it. I do want to talk to you about rowing because one of the things that I found just fascinating about your talk was that you said that you were going to row across the Atlantic, and I guess the first thing I would say is, how much of a thrill seeker are you, Penny?
Well, and I don't think there's zero thrill about this. This is So rowing across the Atlantic is, they say, the biggest test of your physical and mental toughness, because you will experience 3,000 miles of hell and heaven, and it's torturous. It's hard. I haven't done it yet, but I've spoken to a good 100 people that have done it.
Mm.
It is physically exhausting. You row 2 hours on, 2 hours off for 50 days. You don't rest, you don't sleep. It's hell. You know, you have a bucket on board for the toilet and you eat rehydrated food. It's torture. And it's extreme camping. You're on a tiny boat where the cabin is coffin shaped, and it's only, you know, you can hardly squat in it. Everything's wet, everything's uncomfortable, everything's not what I like. But the upside, and for every dark there has to be a light, and for every up there has to be a down, there has to be an up. I think the reward for getting to the start line, feeling that adrenaline, which I've experienced on the start line of rallies, the start line of races, physical fitness competitions, all sorts, the adrenaline that courses through your body when you know it's about to start, and you push off from this island. There's no going back. You have to keep going till you get to Antigua. I love that, because you don't know what's going to lie ahead, but you know it's going to push you to your limit. I quite like, and I'm with 3 other phenomenal people, by the way.
Okay.
And I would consider them far more capable and phenomenal than I am. I feel like I will be the weakest link, but we'll see, because we don't know what's going to happen. They're just, you know, there's somebody in their 20s, somebody in their 30s. My friend is 50 and I'm 60, so I feel like, whoa, you know. But I hope, and I don't know this is a test for me. I hope that when faced with an almighty challenge, which there will be many, I can slow my thinking down. I can look at the options. I can follow the process, and we just find a way around everything. That's, to me, and I want to come back with some stories and some lessons that I can share. I think it will be my last big adventure, because it's consuming for 7 years. I tried to do it once and that didn't work, and now it's actually happening, and it's extremely expensive, and it's so time consuming, I can't tell you, because you haven't just got to physically train to row, you've got to buy the boat, learn it, the electrics on the boat, the water maker on the boat, every single aspect of the boat you've got to learn to be able to understand and fix should it break. Plus you've got to do all the marketing and the website and the charity stuff and and it just goes on and on and on. And I'm really looking forward to it not filling my head.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got 7 months before we're off,
Okay.
which is a small. I can get that on 2 hands, which is terrifying. So I'm as terrified as I am excited, if I'm honest.
Oh, that's so fascinating, that response to it. And I totally get it. I was thinking about what you said about slowing down your thinking. Can you kind of describe to me maybe, I don't know, your first kind of session when you were out on that boat? Did you experience that?
Well, we haven't been in high seas and storms while training, so it's been relatively straightforward.
Yeah.
But you know, if you have a crisis in your life, you think very, very quickly, and you go through, God knows, hundreds of thoughts in fractions of seconds, and that's how most people would respond, and I don't expect that will stop. But then I'm conscious that if I can slow my thinking down, and one of the guys on the boat is an RAF pilot, so he'll be brilliant at this. Because we've got to be very careful and considered about every decision we make. So I know that I will have, in a moment of a crisis, if I can slow my thinking down, I'm more likely to make rational, reasonable decisions. And that's something for everyone, isn't it? It's not just me on the boat. But some people are very reactive, and you know, something happens and they respond in a very just shooting from the hip type of way, but quite often just taking a few moments to think, I have got options here. The best way to respond might not be that. Let me just slow this down a minute and consider a couple of other options. I think that's something most people would benefit from.
And I suppose there were four of you having to make decisions all the time. What was that like finding that team, and how have you managed to build on that?
It's been a torture. We have had three variations of this team. We're now all
Okay.
locked in.
Okay.
So lots of people like the idea of it,
Mm.
and it is a lot of money. Most people can't afford it, so they get involved and realise, oh, I thought I'd be able to find the money and I can't, so they're out.
Mm.
One chap was just brilliant, but he had to have a shoulder operation and an eye operation, and the doctor said there's just no way on earth that you're going wrong. And sometimes the personality fit isn't just quite right.
Mm-hmm.
When you live on a boat in such close proximity to each, and I'm talking inches from each other for 5-6 weeks, you've
Yeah.
got to be able, I mean, we will all get on each other's nerves without a shadow of a doubt, but we've got to be able to get over it by
Yeah.
the time we next see that person in 2 hours or an hour.
Mm. Mm.
You've got to be able to have the ability, and we don't all know yet if we've got this ability, because we're going to work it out as we go, to get cross, to get pissed off, to get annoyed, and wipe the slate clean and go
Mm.
again, and not hold grudges. What an amazing life skill that would be.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, you just can't dwell on stuff. We got a job to do here. We got to get ourselves to Antigua. You know what you did yesterday to piss me off. You just got to let it go.
Yeah.
I think that is great practice. And I tell you the other thing that I really, really am looking forward to seeing if I'm able to do is live in the moment. I am terrible at what's next. And on the boat, you can't do it because you literally are coping with the moments you're in. I can't worry about what happened yesterday. And I
Mm.
have no idea what's going to happen in 2 hours' time. I can only be in the moment. So that will be a really good exercise for me to just relax and enjoy now.
Mm.
Because, and I think, again, most people would benefit from being better at that.
Something
Lots of
I've been
people live in
thinking.
the past, don't they? Lots of people live in the future, but actually now's usually all we've got.
Yeah. As you've been talking, I've been thinking about you being exposed to the elements in nature, but actually being out in nature for 6 weeks is actually quite a privilege. And I wonder if that will help slow down some of your thinking as well.
There's a lot about this that's a privilege.
Mm.
It is a middle class adventure, if I'm honest. But I'm sure when it's out there, it doesn't feel very middle class. The opportunity to have whales swim up to the boat and their blowhole be a meter from your hand. I don't know. I mean, how amazing to have dolphins swim with you, and sharks are seen as well, and to see the Milky Way moving at night, and just things that no one gets to see or experience. And Pete Rowe has come off this, and they say it absolutely has changed my life, and I don't know how it will change mine, but I'm going to see things and experience things that very few people ever will get to experience, and I think that's an enormous privilege.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I looked at the stats for last year, and the team that came in first did it in 31 days. Have you got any particular aim?
Yeah, it's not going to be 31 days. 31 days means you've spent 3 years in the gym on a rowing machine, just going absolutely flat out, because there's no way you can do this in 31 days unless you are absolutely, you've almost given up work and you do nothing else.
Yeah.
So that's not going to happen. I think our aim is less than 50 days would be a real win.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's what we'd hope for, which would be, we're going over at walking pace, to be honest, but we don't move very fast. In the storms, which is the bit I'm dreading, they're actually the bit that get you there quicker. So I've got to, again, learn to flip my thinking, like, this is not a bad thing. This is actually what we need to get us there. So yeah, less than 50 days would be fine. But trust me, we're all going to want to get there as quick as we can and get off as quick as we can. But we have one of the girls, it's her birthday on Christmas Day. So we leave on the 12th of December. So we've got a birthday, we've got a New Year, we've got Christmas, we've got you know, we got quite a lot that we can stop and celebrate as we go, which is lovely.
Oh, I love that. That's gorgeous. I'm surprised it's taken me this long to get to this question. Why are you doing it, Penny?
I get bored. I've had such a lovely, wonderfully exciting life. I get bored very easily. I was jealous when my friend did it and got a world record. Like, that's not fair. I want one. We're not going to get a world record, but I just thought, wow, I don't want to go through my life and not having done this. So the search for adventure just won't flip and die. It won't leave me alone. New experiences, new challenges. I'm frightened of water. I don't get my face wet in the swimming pool. I mean, I've never been on a boat. I've avoided the sea all my life. I've got nothing. I know nothing about anything to do with the sea. This could not be further from my comfort zone. So I'm going to practice what I preach. You know, I talk about people doing this stuff, so it would be wrong of me to just sit at home and watch telly and have an easy life. But I love the adventure. I love the idea of trying something new. I'm probably still trying to prove something deep down. So many layers of reasons I'm doing this. But if I'm honest, I cannot wait till it's over as well. I can't wait till it's behind me, because it's consuming every bit of my life. But yeah, lots of reasons why I'm doing it. But I think mostly just to have an incredible once in a lifetime adventure with some incredible people. Who wouldn't want to do that?
Totally get that. Like I say, when I saw your talk and I saw some of the videos, I was just like, well, I want to do that.
Did you?
And then, yeah, genuinely. And then I listened to you talking just now and thought, my God, you know, that really is all consuming, and rightly so. I think
Yeah,
if you
and you
weren't
have to, you know,
consumed.
this is an organised race, and the organisers are safety crazy. They won't let anyone near the start line until you've passed a million courses, a million tests, done a load of drills. You know, they are just amazing and superb organisation, and so careful that nobody is being put in a position that they can't deal with. So yeah, all that stuff is covered off, but there is an element of danger. It's the ocean versus us in a little boat. I mean, mad.
You mentioned earlier that you were doing it for charity. Do you want to tell me a bit more about that?
Yes, this is really, I'm glad you've asked me. So we thought about getting sponsorship for the boat, and we made a few calls, wrote a few emails. All the contacts I had, it just didn't look like it was going to happen, you know. So we thought, how can we raise money and do this, but without relying on sponsorship? It's just so hard these days. Understandably, people got very little money to throw at things like this. So what we decided to do was work with the Samaritans and my charity Changing Lives to raise money to help prevent suicide. George on our boat, her brother lost his life to suicide last year. So this is very close to her heart. So we're saying, right, people out there, and this is terrifying how many people know someone that's taken their own life. Everyone seems to know someone.
Yeah.
My Zumba instructor was great on Friday and he was dead on Sunday. And who knew? You know, so we've all got that experience. So we said, right, let's ask people for 50 quid. And for 50 quid, we will write the name of the person that you're going to remember on the boat. And we're going to put 1,000 names on the boat. And we're going to make this the hull of remembrance. And we're going to take, and I'll get goosebumps every time I talk about this, we're going to take Georgie's brother, Zach, and 999 other people across the ocean in remembrance for the lives that lost. Oh God, it chokes me up. And try and encourage people to talk, because the moments we have that are hideous are never going to be as bad as the moments that these 1,000 people had. And that's a good thing to keep us going. So that's what we're doing. We're raising money to prevent suicide, but we're going to carry 1,000 people that should never have lost their lives with us. That's cool, isn't it? It's really fun. So we're busy trying to do that. So if anyone wants to put the name on the boat, we're teamspirit@atlanticrow.com.
That's incredible. That's really moved me. Like you said,
Yeah, I still
us.
struggle to talk about this without getting choked up, because it's it's like a real thing. And isn't that better than getting some corporate sponsor on your boat?
Yeah.
This feels like really meaningful.
Yeah, it really does. It's a perfect way of doing it. Love that. And then, thoughts to George and Zach. For goodness sake, can't imagine losing a sibling.
No. And Zach has a mum, I just don't even want to spend any time trying to understand how awful, I don't have the words to lose a child to that. It's just horrendous.
But a really positive output. And I'm sure that, the people who donate will get something from it as well. Like it's a really moving thing to do.
Yeah.
I've really had the tingles more than once during this interview. Thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, except to say thank you for setting this up. With a bit of luck, just one person listening will have heard something useful. That's the reason for doing this stuff. That's it. That's all. Just one person that got something from it would be made it worthwhile.
Thank you so much, Penny. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Elle.